Dear student, to our YouTube channel. Today we'll practice questions from IPC nomenclature section. In the previous classes, we have completed the oxidation number calculation, and in this class, we'll progress the concept from IPC nomenclature. So, I have mentioned all the rules in the recorded section which are available in the playlist of our channel. So learn all the rules from the playlist, and today we will practice questions by using the rules. So let's start. So first rule, I am using the first question for you. This is from IUPAC nomenclature. IUPAC nomenclature. So IUPAC, you know that I stands for international, U stands for union, P stands for pure, and applied chemistry stands for applied, and C stands for chemistry. So IUPAC nomenclature has different rules, and we are going to practice question from the first rule, and the rule says that we need to, the first question is in front of you, and you should name the compound, which is more easier question. So you know that in the given question, the compound contain 5 number of carbon bonded directly to each other, and before going for the nomenclature, you should mark that whether the organic compound which is given for nomenclature either contains functional group or not. How to determine the functional group? So we can determine the functional group by knowing the functional group chart. If a carbon chain contain carbon hydrogen, I am telling you how to identify that a carbon chain contain functional group. So if the carbon chain contain carbon hydrogen with other atom, then it may be a functional group, or any other atom excluding carbon hydrogen can also represent the functional group. That means what I am telling, it is the carbon hydrogen along with here oxygen is present, and it is one type of functional group which is called as aldehyde. Similarly, non-carbon containing, that is here NH2 is the amine. So what I have told, if carbon hydrogen contain other atom in a group, then it may be a functional group. Similarly, non-carbon containing atoms or groups can also express a functional group. In this way, you can conclude that a organic compound contains functional group. Similarly, for divalent case, you know that carbon oxygen here also express one functional group, that is, it is the ketone. Similarly, for only oxygen, it is the ether. So you should decide, or you have a complete idea upon the functional groups before going for any nomenclature. That may be IPC nomenclature, or in the coming classes we will learn the common name or trivial name of organic compound. So anyone who wants to have a broad sense on IPC nomenclature, first he or she should have the idea upon the functional group, its prefix, its suffix, and the general IPC name for the given functional groups or organic compounds. So it is a straight chain organic compound. I am going for this compound nomenclature. So if you have completed, mention it in the comment section and match the answer with the answer I am going to express before you. So in this compound, first you should decide that this chain does not contain any functional group, so it is a pure hydrocarbon chain. Why it is called as a hydrocarbon chain? Because the chain contains only carbon and hydrogen bonded directly to each other, and in this case only two ends are present. It is the one carbon end and it is another carbon end. Due to two carbon end, if a organic compound contains two ends, then it is called a straight chain organic compound. And in this case, if there is no functional group, we can number that carbon chain from any side. That means we can number here like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are giving numbering according to rule to express the total number of carbon by longest continuous carbon chain selection. So the first rule for IUPAC nomenclature is selection of longest continuous, because we are not continuing 1, 2, 3, we are continuing 1, 2, 3 in a regular manner. So longest continuous carbon chain selection is our priority during selection or during going for IUPAC nomenclature. So nomenclature has three parts, that is, first is carbon chain selection. First we need to select the carbon chain. After that we will go for numbering, and the third one is nomenclature, that is IUPAC nomenclature. So first we have decided, as there is no functional group, we can number from left to right, or we can also number from right to left, because there is no functional group. And in this case, what happened? Due to presence of the continuous carbon chain, we know that it is a pure hydrocarbon and it is expressed the functional group for alkane. Why it will be alkane? You know that the alkane has the general formula CnH2n plus 2. You should always relate the functional groups or organic compound with the given compound. So how we can check that? You know that here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbon are present. So by putting here 5 in n, we can get 2 into 5, that is 10 plus 2 will be 12, and C5H12 is the formula for the alkane which contain 5 carbon. That means here hydrogen will be 3 to 5 to 7 to 9 to 12 and 12. In this way you check that this given compound, though it is an open structure, so this open hydrocarbon chain contains 5 number of carbon and 12 number of hydrogen, which obeys the general formula for alkane. It is the general formula for alkane. So the name for the compound will come under alkane. That means here 5 carbon is present. So 5 carbon has the word root, that is pent, and due to presence of single bond are expressed by the suffix, you can say the single bond, not it is a suffix, the single bond are expressed by the ane, so it is called as pentane. In this way we can number a pure hydrocarbon which contain alkane. So it is the name for the compound. If you have done correct, mention it in the comment section. So moving for the second question, we will go slowly and complete all the portions related to the IUPAC nomenclature in today's class and in the upcoming classes. So just writing here the name, that is pentane, and moving for the second question. And here is the second question for you. What I have told here, the single bond is present, but in this case I am just placing here double bond. You know that double bond express the functional group, that is alkene. How it will be alkene, we will also prove that. So in this case I am just placing hydrogen to satisfy the valence of carbon, and 2 is the 3, 2, 3, 4 valence we have satisfied. Now I am placing here the hydrogen should satisfy the valency of the carbon. In this way, the second question is represented before you. You should try first. After that, we will go for the rule using the functional groups. I told that here two types, alkane and alkene, are present. So you know that alkene is the senior functional group according to priority order. So it is the senior functional group in comparison to the alkane. So give always priority to the functional group who is a senior during carbon selection and numbering. So you should try first. I have told the rules also. So in this case, what happen? You cannot number like this because I have told the senior functional group always gets number 1 position or minimum number. Number 1 position is given at that time when the functional group is monovalent and contain carbon atom. At that time, the number 1 position started from the carbon atom of the functional group. But if the functional group does not carry carbon atom, what I am telling is the monovalent functional group and it contains the carbon atom. So the number 1 position always will be started from the carbon atom of the functional group during carbon selection. But if the functional group is monovalent but does not carry carbon atom, at that condition the number 1 position started from the carbon which carry the monovalent functional group containing no carbon atom. But in this case, the functional group functional group without carbon is not possible. So it is the alkene. So the numbering, if you will do from left to right, in this case it will be wrong, because in this case you know that two types of numbering is possible, but the correct combination of numbering will be this. Why the right to left is here, right here or correct here? Because you know that if you number from left to right, the double bond occupies two numbers, that is 4 and 5, and if you number from right to left, the double bond occupies the number 1 and 2, and with in between the combination, that is 4 5 and 1 2, which is the right combination, we always know the functional group should get minimum number during the longest continuous carbon chain selection. So the minimum number combination is 1 2 rather than 4 5. So the correct selection is one right to left, though both the ends, if you number from left to right or right to left, it contains 5 carbon. So the rule gets higher that if the two types of functional group present and though contains 5 number of carbon in any end, so the correct numbering is giving priority to senior functional group. Though alkene is a senior functional group, so it gets the minimum number, and the locant for the alkene, locant means the position of the functional group is called as locant for that functional group. So in this case, alkene is located between 1 and 2 carbon. So the number 1 will be used, the minimum locant, that is here the 1 and 2 carbon possesses the double bond, but in this case the lower locant will always express that the functional group is present between 1 and 2 carbon. So alkene is expressed by the ending, that is ene. We know that 5 carbon is present, so the position will be, or the name for the compound will be pentene. But if you want to write in accurate manner, it is also correct, but if you want to mention it, the name, you can also express the locant of the alkene, that is 1 pentene or pent 1 ene, to express the actual position of double bond. So if you have done correct, mention it in the comment section, and we will move for another question related to alkene. We will slowly practice the questions. So if you have done correct, mention it. I am going for the third one. It is the one pentene here. I'm writing one pentene, and the third one is here. It is the CH3, it is the CH2, it is the CH, it is the 21314, 21314, it is the CH3 here. In this case, you should try. The rule is similar. At the second and third questions are related to each other. You should try first. After that, I will tell you how to answer such type of question. You should try first. In this case, what happened? You can roughly try, or in mind you can try 1, 2. Here 2 is the position for double bond states. 2 and 3 carbon possesses 1, 2. Left to right, if you move the 2 position possesses the double bond. But if you move from right to left, 1, 2, 3, 3 carbon, or the carbon having the locant during selection from right to left, during selection, the carbon chain from right to left occupies the third position. So the proper name will be 3. If you think it is wrong, because we always try to give the functional group containing carbon, minimum locant. Here the functional group or senior functional group is alkene. So the proper numbering will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because if you number from, it is the right numbering, but if you think the numbering from right to left, then the double bond here occupies the position 2, 3 and 3, 4, but the minimum locant for the double bond is 2. You know that 2 is lower number than 3, so the proper numbering is left to right. If you done right to left, it will be wrong. So the name for the compound will be pent, because pent is the word root which can express the total number of carbon, that is 5, and here 5 carbon are continuously bonded to each other. So the name becomes, the word root for the carbon is pent, and what will express the double bond? We know that the double bond can be expressed by using the ending, that is E and A, and you know that the proper locant for the double bond is 2, 3, but the 2 number will be used because the lower locant will be used to express the position of double bond. So the name will be 2-pentane or pent to ene, pent to ene. You can write in any way, both the persons are correct, but for hearing it sounds better than the second name, but the both nomenclatures are correct. So if you have done correct, mention it in the comment section. Moving for the fourth question, we are only going for the in this case the 3 question belongs to longest continuous carbon chain and priority rule. Why it is called priority rule used? Because your 2 types of functional group is present, that is alkane and alkene. We have given priority to alkene, not from our mind, using the rules. That means that we are going for the fourth question, and the fourth question is in front of you. The fourth question. The first question for you. You should try first. After that, I will give you the answer with the reason. So in this case, you have to decide what I have told. The carbon chain here not contain any other atom excluding carbon and hydrogen, but here carbon and hydrogen present, here carbon and hydrogen are present, but in this case carbon with hydrogen also contain some other atom, that is oxygen, that may express the functional group. If you have idea upon the functional group, you can decide that it is the aldehyde and it is a monovalent functional group, and the monovalent functional group containing carbon atom always possesses the number 1 position, and the number 1 position is given to the carbon atom of the functional group, and the numbering we will always start giving priority to the carbon atom of the functional group. I have already mentioned in the rule section and also using the rules by expressing the example before you. And here the number 1 position will always start from the carbon atom of the monovalent functional group, and the numbering will progress from right to left. It is the correct numbering or chain selection. Before numbering, if you number from left to right here, it will be wrong because the functional group occupying here maximum numbering which goes against the rules. So the rule says that the carbon atom of the monovalent functional group always gets number 1 position during carbon chain selection and numbering. So the proper name for the compound will be according to the IPC name of aldehyde, because the aldehyde has the IPC name, that is alkanal, because Al is the suffix for the aldehyde, and replacing the E part by the suffix Al, the name becomes alkanal, and the 3 carbon contains the word root prop, and the name for the compound will be propanal, because you know that if only carbons will be present, so the name can be propane, but due to presence of aldehyde, the suffix E is replaced by the L, that is the propanal. Or you can also write 1 position due to position of position at 1 number or locant 1, the name will be 1 propanal, but there is no need for the position, that is 1. In this way, we have used the longest continuous carbon chain rule. It will be all the things we have included in the longest continuous carbon chain selection. That is the first rule we are using. Also, we have used the priority rule, giving the functional group priority. And I am expressing the 5th rule as a 5th question for you. 5th question is before you, and it is the 5th question. It is somehow different. So you should try this question. After that, we will go for the question. So you should try first and mention your answer in the comment section. So if you have tried, match your answer. In this type of question, what you need to think, you should always try to express this structure like the structures we have completed. So in this case, what you need, you should decide all the junctions contain carbon atom, and the end also contains the carbon atom. And in this case, what will happen? It is the carbon end, and it is the junction end, it is the carbon. Mark that, it is the carbon, it is the junction, it is the end, junction end, and this end does not carry carbon because it contains the oxygen with H. And after that, we will satisfy the valency of the carbon by placing hydrogen. It will be CH2, it will be CH2, it will CH3. In this way, we have converted the line structure into a carbon end structure. In this case, you know that it is the carbon hydrogen, it is the carbon hydrogen, it is the carbon hydrogen. It will not express any functional group, but this part express the functional group because it contains other atom excluding carbon and hydrogen. So this group of atom express the functional group for alcohol, and the alcohol though does not contain any carbon atom, so the number 1 position will start from the carbon which contains the carbon atom. So number 1 will start from here and it will progress in this direction. You can tell that it will be numbering because this carbon is directly bonded to the functional group and giving priority to the functional group as it does not contain any carbon atom. So numbering will start from this carbon. If you number from this side, then the locant for the functional group will be higher, which goes against the rule. Giving priority to the functional group, always we try to select the longest continuous carbon chain, and after selecting the chain, we have the idea that alcohol has the IPC name, that is alkanol, and the alkanol is produced by replacing the E by the suffix of alcohol, that is OL, and the name for the compound will be prop, and the name will be propanol, because the 3 carbon end will be expressed by the word root prop, and it is the substituent or it is the derivative of alkane, so the name will be propane, and propane is replaced by E part will be replaced by the suffix ol, and the name will be propanol. In this way we can conclude different questions answered by using the rules. So in this way we can do more questions from this section in the coming classes. So if you like the lecture, please subscribe our channel, share the channel with your friends, help them to learn better. So thank you.